Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Logan and today we'll be going over some XY promos and kind of the ratio and percentages, kind of like what I did with the evolutions video the other day, but we're going to stick with just the promos. And you guys have to stay to the end because there's some pretty staggering percentages at the end. So please stay tuned all the way through because it's going to be pretty mind-blowing once we get to the nitty-gritty. But as you can see, we got a lot to get to, so let's just kind of jump right into it. We got the Mega Gengar EX from these are all from some sort of collection boxes. This video would be too long to kind of go nitpick all the way through between boxes and cards. But you guys know it's the old Phantom Forces Mega Gengar. And with Gengar coming out in Mega Dream, the Mega being renewed back into the Pokemon TCG, I really like Gengar, obviously biased, but I'm not really saying they're undervalued, good buys, whatever, but I'm just showing you the stats. The last sold in PSA 10 was 1,500. It was over 6 months ago. There's only 120 total in a PSA 10. And last sold in a PSA 9, it was 860 on November 12th. So you do with that as you may, but Mega Gengar EX. Next up, we got the Blastoise EX from the Generations collection boxes. Look at this, guys. Last sold in a PSA 10 was October 13th for $5,655. Wow. This one, out of the three, I guess out of the four with the Pikachu, this one is my favorite because the background Pokemon are by far the best. You got Vaporeon and Gyarados, so this one's my favorite because Blastoise is my favorite starter, and then you got the supportive Pokemon in the back. Really love this card. Really nice card. Really hard to grade, obviously. Basically, all of these cards are really tough to grade. As you can see, only 94 total in a PSA 10 for this Blastoise. Man, but yeah, $5,000 in a PSA 10. That's a nice chunk of change for the big boy Blastoise. Next up, we got the Pikachu. This one is actually really nice as well. The next couple are all going to be from the Generations collection boxes. This one's actually really nice as well because the Pikachu's kind of evil looking right here. You got Jolteon, Electabuzz in the background. Last sold in PSA 10, kind of a weird sale. It was $1,749, basically $1,750 in a PSA 10. But before that, it was $6,900. That $6,900 sale was all the way back in June 12th. And $1,500, that's kind of, or $1,750, that's a really low sale. That seems like a crazy sale because a PSA 9 last sold October 12th for $1,356. So there's no way a PSA 10 is only $400 more than a PSA 9, especially with these ratios. There's only 58 total in a PSA 10, 584 and a 9, and then 1427 and 8, 1550 and a 7. Holy crap. So yeah, definitely a wonky PSA 10 sale right there for the Pikachu promo. Next up, we got the Venusaur. Wow, this one last sold in a PSA 10 was November 8th, $8,000. 66 total in a PSA 10, and then 392 in a 9. Even in a 9, it's $800 basically. That's $8,000 in a PSA 10. Woo! That's a crazy percentage. Even like a multiplier right there. Haven't really gone over the raw prices. I just realized that. Gengar raw about TCG was $262, Blastoise raw $214, Pikachu raw $304, Venusaur raw $191. So sorry about that. Forgot all about that right there. But I mean, going from basically $200 to $8,000, obviously really hard to grade. So percentages kind of speak for themselves. And it's Venusaur with Scyther and Vileplume holding on for dear life in the background. Next up, we got the Charizard. So I think this one, I mean, this one seems pretty reasonable right here. $2,650 in a PSA 10. We have 407 total. So obviously this is by far it's the only one that's up that high. So yeah, easiest one to grade out of the big four for the Generations collection boxes. 141 raw TCG player, $2,650 in a PSA 10 with 407 total. So I mean, considering how the other three are in the double digits, having 407 to PSA 10 is a pretty good ratio compared to the other ones. Next up, I just talked about this card in a recent video. the Mew XY110 promo. This is a beautiful looking card. Last sold pretty recently in PSA 10 was 2642. What was the date? October 26th. So yeah, fairly recently in the past month. Only 158 in a PSA 10. You got 929 and 9 and basically 908 for a card that's $115, $116 raw. You're probably going to end up paying a premium for all these cards if it's a really, really clean copy. And they're going to be hard to find out on a table unless somebody really doesn't know or hasn't been doing their research. Because if somebody has a clean copy of any of these cards, they're probably going to send it to get graded. Next up, this card is so crazy right here. I love it. It's just a regular EX card, no texture or anything. But Mew EX XY 126. Oh, just the galaxy theme colors in the background. This card is phenomenal. Last sold in a PSA 10 was $5,355 on October 26th. Seems like October 26th is a pretty popular date for all these. Only 76 of these in a PSA 10, 328, and a 9. Even in a PSA 9, it's 703. That's still basically a 6x multiplier because raw we're at 115. So, woo, that's a pretty nice jump right there, but it's a really nice looking card. Next, we got the Mewtwo EX promo that goes along with the Mew XY 125. Raw is only like $75, guys. But PSA 10 last sold September 22nd for $5,750. Only 47 of these in a PSA 10 total. So I mean that's pretty freaking rare right there. I mean, but the multiplier is out of this world. You go from 75 basically to $5,750. That's a crazy jump. Next up, we got the Umbreon XY96 promo. This is just a regular holo, not a regular holo. I think it's a Cosmos holo, but not like a EX or a illustration rare. But this one right here, Umbreon's glowing right now, is actually pretty cool. But couldn't really get any PSA 10. I even looked it up on eBay. I couldn't really find anything worth for this promo. So if you guys know what this Umbreon XY96 promo last sold in a PSA 10, please drop it in the comments. Other than that, last sold in a PSA 9 November 23rd, so just a couple of days ago for $505. There's only 184 of these in a 9, so I mean it's just got to be crazy rare for a PSA 10. But like I said, if you know what it is in a PSA 10, please drop it in the comments below. Next up, we got the Shining Gyarados promo XY109. This one last on the PSA, so this is another late sale right here because the PSA 9 last sold and the PSA 10 last sold are $2 apart. So obviously that is not accurate because $55 raw, only 30 of these in a PSA 10, and like I said, only $2 difference from the last sold to PSA 10 to PSA 9. So not accurate for a sale, but there's only 30 of these in the world, guys. I mean, they're not going to be popping up every day. Most of these promos aren't going to be popping up every day in a PSA 10. Next up, we got the Mew XY192 promo. This one last sold for $27.25 on July 20th? I'm pretty sure July 21st. Wow, that's a long time ago, and it's still sold for almost $3,000. Only 16 of these in a PSA 10, guys. That's nuts. I mean, it's $56 raw for near mint. Obviously, you're gonna be paying a premium, but that's a 16 total in PSA 10. That's crazy rate. Next up, we got the Pikachu EX XY84. Last sold in a PSA 10 was a pretty long time ago, July 10th, for $1,183. Only 78 of these in a PSA 10 for a regular EX. Now, I say regular EX. This EX is actually really cool. You got the lightning, you got the purple, and going through the whole borders of the card, or all around the borders of the card. Really nice looking EX right there. But last sold, yeah, July 10th, 1,183. That's who knows what it is now. Next up, we got the Ashes Greninja. Now this card, I mean, Ash and Greninja, a lot of people love that combination right there. Last sold in the PSA 10 was $41.83 on September 11th of this past year. So just a couple of months ago. Yeah, over 4,000, over 4,100 bucks, almost $4,200, guys. Only 22 of these in a PSA 10. It's $60 raw, but I mean, even in a 9, it was $1,000. $1,000 sale was November 12th, so that was just a couple of weeks ago. In a 9, and even in an 8, it's 157. I mean, so you're basically 3xing if you get a PSA 8 of this Ashes Greninja, which is for an 8, that's really solid ratios. Next up, we got the Darkrai XY 114. These are kind of like the first illustration rares that I remember off the top of my head. Is like all these collections of Black Star promos from the XY era. There's a bunch of them. You guys got to go look at them. They're phenomenal. They look so nice. My only complaint is that I was tired of these yellow borders a long time ago. And obviously the Japanese has the silver borders, but they're like in like the actual sets. They're not promos for the most part. But if these had silver borders, oh, good night, Irene. It's over with. But last sold in a PSA 10 on July 27th for $1,971. Only 63 of these in a PSA 10. TCG player for near mint is basically $50. Ooh, like the Darkrai promo, that's a really nice one. Like, you guys got to go look at them. There's a bunch of them, including this one right here. Out of that specific group, this is probably my favorite, the XY76. Zekrom is just really cool. He just has a lot of cool artworks, I guess. That's why I really like him. But this one, another one where the PSA 10 guys are really, really scarce when it comes to this card. Last one, a PSA 9 on July 30th for $220. Only 133 of these in a 9. So if you guys know what this last sold in the PSA 10, please put this in the comments as well. But this one's super sick. It's got the lightning going all throughout the artwork. You got the Palkia. You got the Latios. I mean, it's really, really nice card. And a lot of these promos, they go together. Like, you know, Palkia's a featured Pokemon in this one. And then in the Palkia card, there's another featured Pokemon. But they all kind of flow together. It's really nice. I wonder if you found all these, like, all those promos just laid down together, I bet you it would look sick. Next up, we got the Snorlax XY 179 promo. This comes out of a collection box, but last on the PSA 10 was months ago, over 6 months ago, for $11.05 in a PSA 10. Only 35 total of these in a PSA 10. Raw, guys, look at this. Raw is $11, $12. So obviously, this is kind of like an XY Evolutions type holo card. Obviously, we all know XY Evolutions has had a lot of quality control issues. If you're interested in looking at those percentages, go look at my recent videos. But this multiplier kind of makes sense with how hard XY Evolutions was and just XY era in general quality control was. But the OG Snorlax Jungle Holo, really, really rare in a PSA 10. Next up, is this where we get into the nitty gritty? So this is where we're starting to get to the crazy rare percentages, guys. Look at this one. The Reshiram XY74. There is only 7 of these in a PSA 10, guys. 7. Last sold June 17, 2025 for $2,000. I'm going to go out on a limb. It's probably more expensive now. I could be wrong, but I'll go out on the limb and say it. Only 7 of these were in single digits, guys, for the Reshiram XY74. I mean, woo, that's crazy percentage. Raw is $45 basically, but man, if you get a clean copy, even if it's like, even in a 9, last sold was months ago. So if you get a clean copy of this at all, that you might think it has a shot at a PSA 10, and you're like, it could be a 9. It even could be an 8, bro. Like, there's no way that an 8 is only $17. So, I mean, why freaking not? There's only 7, but obviously it's insanely hard to grade. Next up, the Mega Salamence EX. I know it's kind of a random card, but guys, look at that. Only 5 of these in a PSA 10. It's $56 raw. Last on a PSA 10 was over 6 months ago at $587, but there's only 5 raw. That's insane. It just keeps getting lower and lower in the single digits. That's what's crazy to think of. These cards are like 8 to 10, maybe 12 years old, and they're single digits in a PSA 10. Woo! Next up, we got the Rayquaza, the shiny Rayquaza EX XY 69. But let me be mature for a second. Last sold in a PSA 10 was over 6 months ago at 11.03. It's $108 raw. Only 8 of these total in a PSA 10 for the shiny Rayquaza. And this is just a regular EX. This is not an illustration rare. This doesn't have a hollow foil pattern that can get print lines. Just a regular EX, guys. Obviously, super, super hard to grade. There's more 2s than there are 10s. So the shiny Rayquaza EX, that's a crazy, crazy rare card to get in a PSA 10. Next up, the Arceus XY83 raw. We're at $41. Last on a PSA 10 was over 6 months ago for over $2,000, little over $2,000. There's only 6 of these in a PSA 10, guys. Only 6. That's crazy to think about, is how many of these promos are out there. But obviously not a lot of people took care of them. And the fact that there's only 6 out there. Next up, we got the Latias, guys. XY78, $70 raw. Last sold in a PSA 10 was over 6 months ago for $4,100 or $4,155. Guys, there's only 3. There's only 3 of the Latias illustration promos in a PSA 10. Oh my God. Even in a 9, it's $600. But 3, I mean, Jesus. Just think about that, guys. It's crazy. Next up, the Mega Garchomp EX promo, XY168. No sales data. Last sold was just a long time ago for $200. Last sold from the PSA 9 was over 6 months ago for $274. So very outdated PSA 10 price. $122 raw. TCG player. Guys, there's only 2 of these. There's legit only 2 of these in a PSA 10 for the Mega Garchomp EX XY168. That's crazy. This is just regular EX. There's only 2 total in a PSA 10 out there in the world. That's insane. Next up, the Latios. The Latias had 3. The Latios said, I'll one-up ya. I got 2 total in a PSA 10. There was a sale for $22.50. Imagine if you picked it up back then. Last sold in a PSA 9 was even 6 months ago. I mean, Lord have mercy, guys. That's TCG player. TCG player $64 raw. 2 of these total in the PSA 10 ever. Whoever picked this up at $22.50, congratulations, bro. Oh, I couldn't imagine what that is now. But this is kind of what I was talking about earlier. You had the Latios right here, and you had the Palkia right behind him. And in the other cards, Zekrom was the main one. You had Palkia and Latios in the background. So it's kind of cool the way they kind of flow together right there. And Palkia just kind of looks derpy though right there. Can't lie. So guys, if you didn't think it could get any lower when it comes to pop rates, guess again. The Ditto XY40 promo. Guys, $46 raw. Last sold in the PSA 9 was $156 July 1st of this past year. But guys, look. Pop 1. This is an old cert too. Look at that. The Ditto XY40 promo. It's got like the little gummy things that were in the Gengar EX for Phantom Forces. But look at that, guys. Literally right here. PSA 10 pop 1. That's insane. This guy has the only one in the world. His buy it now price was $15,000 for 1. I mean, it's just a regular hollow. I mean, obviously it's not like an EX or illustration rare to where like it could have like just a hollow, bro. And to be a pop 1 and to actually have one, and it's an old cert. Well, let's kind of see what they're talking about. I don't know. Obviously, we're not getting a very good look. Picture quality is not the best, and this could be just on the case, or I don't even know. But yeah, no, They still get the PSA 10 pop 1 right here for the Ditto. That's insane to think about. There's only one of them in the world. So, doesn't matter. It has to be really hard to grade. So, I have no sales data for this one. But I just kind of wanted to go through it, those data points with you guys, because I was kind of mind blown as well looking at them. So, I was like, who knows? Who knows if you guys have binder copies, if you guys just have them stashed away for a rainy day? Who knows, guys? And if for some odd reason, I'm not recommending this at all. But for some odd reason, if you're a gambling man, woman, if you feeling lucky, if you want to go open up some of these collection boxes, some of them cost like $450 to like $600, right around in that range. Obviously, some of them cost like upwards to probably like $1,500-$1,800. And for like the generations ones, like for these ones right here, these ones are pretty expensive. But for these other ones, I couldn't even find them on eBay and stuff like that. But obviously, I do not recommend that. But let me get that out of there. I do not recommend doing that. But if, like I said, if you're a gambling man, woman, and you're like, you got the money to spend, you got the money to blow, and you just want to have a good time and get that adrenaline rush, by all means, have at it. Because the percentages are insane. And if you're lucky enough to get that PSA 10 on any of these cards, you're way up your money. But like I said, I do not recommend it. Because I'm not that gambling man. I do not have that type of money just to throw away and see if it sticks to the wall, basically. But I'm going to stop rambling. You guys have a good night. Hope you enjoyed the video with these rare, crazy percentage and PSA 10 rates. You guys have a good night. Peace.